let's appreciatively applaud the Lord one more time for our music ministry. As you have heard, we are beginning a new sermon series called Summer Road Trip, and we are going to be passing through critical cities that are necessary on this life journey. And today we're going to park in a place called Patience, which means this sermon is going to take a while. Seriously. I figure the best ocular demonstration is to have you sitting here while we contemplate patience. Okay, not really. Michael Jordan is arguably the greatest basketball player in history. 6 NBA championships, most valuable player, etc., etc., etc. But what a lot of people don't know is he actually missed 9,000 shots, 26 game-winning shots. He lost 300 games, and he fouled 2,783 times. But we remember him because he kept on playing night in and night out. He is an example of patience. Jack Nicklaus, arguably the greatest golfer of all time, won 73 tournaments over his 24-year career, 18 major tournaments. No one has ever done that, even to this day. 18 major tournaments would be equivalent to 18 Super Bowls individually if you don't follow golf. No one has ever achieved that. But what most people don't know is he actually entered 450 matches and he lost 83% of the time. But we remember him because he kept on swinging. He is an example of patience. How many of you eat potatoes? Of course you do. It's America's favorite vegetable, second only to tomatoes, tomatoes being second. But the potato farmer takes actually 2 to 4 months before he can bring or she can bring that valuable vegetable to our table. We remember the farmer because of his or her patience. Life is not a problem to be solved. Life is a mystery to be lived. Repeat, life is not a problem to be solved, but life is a mystery to be lived. And so this weekend, I've been talking about the job of a farmer and a fella named Job. Although I used to call the book of Job the book of jobs. I thought, how cool that the Bible has a whole book on jobs. Until I learned that it was Job. The Bible does have a lot to say about jobs. It's just not in the book of Job. And so I want to read this passage. I want us to read it. James chapter 5. James, the apostle of the New Testament, reaches all the way back into the Old Testament to show us the virtue of patience. And so I'm going to be reading, and I want you to repeat one word after me when you see it, the word patient or patience or patiently. When you see it, I want you to shout it back at me with vim, with vigor, and with vitality. Brothers and sisters, be patient. Ooh, who was that? I like whatever I heard over there. That's vim, vigor, and vitality. Come shake my hand after this is over, whoever that was. The Lord will come, so be patient. until that time. Look at the farmers. They have to be. They have to wait for their valuable crop to grow and produce the harvest. They wait for the first rain and the last rain. You must be too. Never stop hoping. Never stop hoping. The Lord is coming soon. Brothers and sisters, don't complain against each other. If you don't stop complaining, you will be judged guilty, and the judge is ready to come. Brothers and sisters, follow the example of the prophets who spoke for the Lord. They suffered many bad things, but they were. And we say that those who accepted their troubles with, they now have God's blessings. You've also heard about Job's. And you know that after his troubles, the Lord helped him. This shows that the Lord is full of mercy and is kind. There are two usages of the word patient in our English language. One is patience with people. Patience with people. But that's not the one I want to focus on today. The other is patience with perplexities or problems. That's actually the word in the Greek. Patience with perplexities and problems. It's that second one that I really want to focus on here today. We need patience with perplexities and problems. Why? Because we all live with the fallen human condition. And why do we have a fallen human condition? Because our foreparents, Adam and Eve, rebelled against God. They failed to do his commands, and as a result, all of us are suffering the consequences. Therefore, we will need to know how to be patient in the midst of perplexities and problems. Therefore, we have 10 basic reasons for human suffering. No, not 10, but 11. I intentionally put 10 there so you would cross it out and write in the number 11 for a mechanism for memory. So cross out the 10, write in the 11. There are at least 11 basic causes of human suffering printed there in your bulletin. 1, sickness. 2, poverty. 3, famine. 4, weather, such as earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, drought. 5, fire, war, pride, greed, ignorance, death. And here's number 11, satanic interference. Satanic interference. That's what got Job in his perplexities and problems. And because we have this fallen human condition, we need patience. Genesis 3:16 through 19. To the woman, God said, as a consequence of your actions, I will increase your suffering, the pain of childbirth, and the sorrow of bringing forth the next generation. God always intended for women to bring forth children. He never intended for there to be so much pain. But as a result of rebelling and failing God, we have pain. Then he says, you will desire your husband, but rather than a companion, he will be the dominant partner. It's always been God's will for men and women to have companionship and relationship. Always designed to be mutual submission without one overpowering the other, but because of the fallen human condition, we have the battle of the sexes, always tension between who is in charge. Then he said to the man, because you followed your wife's advice instead of my command, and ate of the tree from which I've forbidden you to eat, cursed is the ground. For the rest of your life, you will fight, you will fight, you will fight for every crumb of food from the crusty clump of clay. From the sweat of your brow, he says, you are going to eat your bread. However, God always intended for us to work. He just never intended for us to work so hard, to have to fight the earth and elements and environment for our food. Because of the fallen human condition, we need patience. What is patience? Hupomone is the Greek word. Hupo means under. Mone means abide. It means to abide under. This word, as our working definition, will mean this. Patience is holding up under pressure. It's holding up under pressure. It's enduring seasons of suffering, clue, without giving up. That's patience. With perplexities and with our problems, it is holding up under pressure. Patience is enduring seasons of suffering without giving up. Suffering has seasons, and seasons change. I have to hold up under the pressure until my season changes. That's patience. I cannot do that by myself. My strength, my willpower will run out. I need God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit to help me with patience, and he will. He promised that he would, and I need you. I need other people to help me bear perplexities and problems. And so hupomone, patience, means that I am holding up under pressure, enduring seasons of suffering without giving up. In the technical sense for the theologians among us, God is not patient. He is long-suffering with us, because patience means that God has a problem or a perplexity. He does not. There is no pressure that he has to hold up under. There is no season of suffering that he can't endure. There is nothing too hard for God. He is long-suffering with us, his people, but he is not patient in the truest sense of the word. We need him to help us be patient and to hold up under pressure. So when it comes to patience, if I am in baseball, I keep on swinging. Why? No matter if I strike out, fly out, or ground out, that's patience. If I play golf, I keep on swinging with patience. Why? No matter if I have a bogey, double bogey, triple bogey. If I'm playing football, I keep on being patient. Even though I'm going to fall and I'm going to fumble, I have to keep getting up. If I'm in church, I need patience to endure a bad sermon and keep on listening. Don't you say amen on that? So I need patience. Let me give you these 4 things, and then I'll take my seat. 1, the farmer and Job. The patience of the farmer and Job was sometimes strong. The patience of the farmer and Job was sometimes strong. And so is our patience. Sometimes it's strong. We are holding up under pressure. We're enduring seasons of suffering, like the farmer. Genesis 1, God said, I'm giving you all the grain-bearing plants and all the fruit trees. These trees make fruit with seeds in it. This grain and fruit will be your food. When a farmer is functioning with patience, they plant, they water, they cultivate, they pick out weeds, and their patience is strong. So it produces and gives us the food we need. We are grateful to God for the farmers of the world who give us food, strong. Job also had a strong patience. He was holding up under pressure. Life is filled with swift transitions. It's filled with swift transitions. It's unpredictable. Circumstances can change like that at the clap of a hand, at the drop of a hat, at the batting of an eye. They can change. And that's what happened to Job. He woke up one morning, the song says, footloose and fancy free. But before the setting of the sun, his finances were finished. He was bankrupt. His family was fractured. His flesh was feeble, and he was sick unto death. And his future was fuzzy, cloudy, and uncertain, just like that. And what did Job do with this cascading list of events? Job stood up, tore his robe in grief, then he shaved his head, fell to the ground to whine, to blame, to complain. No, he fell to the ground to worship, which means he adored God, greatly admired God. In other words, he still had good things to say about God. He said, I came naked from my mother's womb. I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. And in all this, Job did not sin by blaming God. That's when my patience is strong. I'll give you another one. When my patience is strong, I'm generally clicking and functioning on these 4 levels. Number 1, I am praying biblically. I'm praying biblically. Number 2, I am thinking positively. Thinking positively. Number 3, sometimes when I'm strong in my patience, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. You ever injured yourself and the physician said, I need you to be patient. I'm going to immobilize this area. You cannot move it. You cannot move this arm, this leg, this hip, this back. You cannot move it. Be patient. Do nothing. But then sometimes patience means working feverishly. Working feverishly. That same doctor will say, now take that area that's been immobilized. I told you to be patient and not move. Now I want you to work it feverishly with exercise because it's going to hurt, but I need you to get it functioning again. Get up and walk, move, stretch, do whatever, work feverishly. That's a sign of patience too. And so when I'm strong in patience, I am praying biblically, not just emotionally, but I'm praying biblically. For example, Psalm 23 says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and he will walk with me through the valley of the shadow of death. And when I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death, I need to pray biblically back to God and say, God, you said you would be my shepherd. I'm going through a valley of perplexities and problems. I need you to shepherd me through this situation. You are praying biblically and thinking positively. You're thinking what God has left me rather than what I have lost. You're thinking about my blessings rather than my bruising. You are thinking positively, and sometimes you are doing nothing. And then other times you're working feverishly, and I need God to help me to know what to do when. Do nothing under patience or work feverishly under patience. That's what was happening with the farmer and Job and with us when it's all clicking. Sometimes our patience is strong. And then secondly, the patience of the farmer and Job is sometimes weak. It's sometimes weak. We're not always strong. We get weak, which means we're not thinking biblically or positively. We're doing nothing when we ought to be working feverishly, and we're working feverishly when we ought to be doing nothing. Weak. What I love about the Word of God is it does not shy away from letting us know the failures, the foibles, the feebleness of its heroes. And here we see the humanity of Job. At one point, here he was, strong in patience, holding up under pressure, enduring his season of suffering without giving up. But here we meet the man that James told us to learn from, and he's weak, he's cracked under the pressure. Then Job opened his mouth and cursed the day that he was born. He said, I wish the day I was born would be lost forever. I wish the night that they said, it's a boy, had never happened. I wished that that day had remained dark. I wish God above had forgotten that day and not let any light shine against it. I don't know about you, but I have been there. Patience is weak. I'm not praying biblically. I'm not thinking positively. I'm focusing on what I've lost and what I have left. I'm focusing on my bruises and not my blessings. I'm doing nothing when I ought to be working feverishly, and I'm working feverishly when I ought to be doing nothing. Weak. Let me give you a third one. The patience of the farmer and the patience of Job questioned God, but never quit. They questioned God, but never quit. Wish we had time to look at the book of Job. We do not. Maybe one day we will. But he asked God basically 3 questions, and God answered his question with a question. But you could see in this book, Job, the tension of him asking God questions and yet never quitting. Listen to him as he says, if one dies, can he live again? Yes. Through these days of toil and struggle, I will patiently wait until my situation changes. Look at me. It took a change to get you in your situation. It would take a change to get you out of your situation. And God is the God of change. He's the only one that can help me hold up under pressure. Job is questioning but never quitting. And we do question God. I happen to believe it's all right to question God. But I am learning this. I am learning that when I say to God, why me? That I also ask the question, God, why not me? Why not me? Why do I wish calamity on another country? Why not here in my country? Why do I wish it to happen to somebody else? Yes, I will empathize with them. I will sympathize with them, but not just God, why me? But I'm learning to question and ask God, why not me? Ecclesiastes 11, for the farmer says, you cast your bread on the waters, and after many days you will find it. Casting means I'm giving everything that I have. I'm sowing, I'm planting, and I'm doing so not knowing when the return will come, but I'm not quitting because I know the return will come. So I'm learning to question. They question, but they never quit. And in the words of Dr. William Bill Curtis, I'm learning this also. I'm learning that not only do I doubt God, but I'm learning to doubt my doubts. That's not for everybody. That's for somebody, though, that's sitting here that makes sense to you. I not only doubt God, but I'm learning to doubt my doubts. Doubting God is in calamities. It's not always a temptation to leave God. Sometimes doubt is an invitation to get closer to God. I'm learning to doubt my doubts. So the farmer and Job questioned God, but never quit. So it is with me. Here's the last one. The farmer and Job. The patience of the farmer and Job paid off. It paid off. It paid off. Aren't you glad that the patience of the farmer pays off? Because if not, you wouldn't be ready to eat right after this sermon. I'm rushing my way to a restaurant because of the patience of the farmer. It pays off. That's a good preaching point. In fact, I almost feel like holding you and preaching a little while because patience pays off. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. It will pay off. Somebody sent me a notable text that said, patience can be learned. You just have to be patient. I like that. Their grandmother told them that all the time. But patience pays off. You know why I know that's true experientially here today? Because some of you are looking at me who've been through perplexities and been through problems, and you can lift transcripts from your own experience and say, Pastor, if you would give me the podium for a minute, I could share with the congregation that patience pays off. And in Job chapter 42, when Job had come to the end and his situation was about to change again, he had questioned God, but he had not quit. And then Job realized and said these words. Then Job answered the Lord, I know you can do everything. You make plans and nothing can change or stop them. You ask, that is, God asked, who is this ignorant person saying these foolish things? That is, when Job was questioning him. Job said, I talked about things I did not understand. I talked about things too amazing for me to know. In the past, I heard about you, but now I have seen you with my own eyes. We're talking about a man who God said knew him better than anybody on the face of the earth. He says, I had heard about you, but now through the lens of problems and perplexities, I see a whole nother side of the sovereign God, and I'm ashamed of myself. I am so sorry as I sit in these dust and ashes, able to do nothing. I promise to change my heart and my life. And when God heard that, the Lord blessed Job with even more than he had at the beginning, because patience pays off. For some of us, God has more in the twilight of our life than he did in the beginning of our lives if we ask him to help us to hold up under the pressure and endure seasons of suffering. Now, those of you who are under 30, this makes no sense to you. Yes, you have some problems and perplexities, but you are going to remember this one day. As my grandmother said, keep on living. Patience pays off. And so rather than pray, I'm going to sing my prayer. This is the song I sing when I'm going through some dark days. I've been through some, and I'm not through going through them. I wrestle with the thought of giving up, giving in. Though the pain I felt inside was much too much to bear, I found the strength and power to whisper one small prayer. Everything around was looking bad. Oh, so sad. Rainy days and stormy nights, they would not go away. Broken dreams and promises stared me in the face. That's when you said that I couldn't make it. Your words were greater than my pain. They fell on me like fallen rain. That's when you said that I could take it. And now I realize you chase my storms away. Storm chaser, you chase my storms away. The day is brighter than it was before. Ah, thank you, Lord. The sky is clear, the clouds are blue, the sun shines on my face, and I'm encouraged just to know that you chase my griefs away. That's when you said that I couldn't make it. Your words were greater than my pain. They fell on me like fallen rain. That's when you said that I could take it. I feel safe from harm. You chased my storms away. Storm chaser, Jesus chased my fears away. That's my prayer for you and for me. Stand and receive the benediction. Of course, our benediction is one word. I bet you can't even guess what it is. When I get to that point, you're going to say that one word benediction with vim, vigor, and with vitality. Now unto him who is able to keep us this week and make us Now take some time and touch at least 6 people before you leave. And that person who hollered out patience, come down and shake my hand.